Good morning. It's a beautiful, cold Sunday morning here in Washington, D.C. This is the Jefferson Memorial. It's about 29 degrees Fahrenheit this morning, but a beautiful, clear Sunday morning. This body of water is called the Tidal Basin, and it's frozen. It's not frozen solid. I hope there are no idiots that try to walk on this. It's really a thin sheet of ice. It hasn't been consistently below freezing here, but it does make for a beautiful picture. Good morning, Ben. Thank you for joining me on this cold, early Sunday morning. I'm going to try to walk around a little bit. Hey, Tomby. I'm going to try to walk around a little bit, but it is rather icy on the walkways here, and that is no slight to our National Park Service, who keeps all of these areas absolutely beautiful and clean and safe for us. It snowed again yesterday, and so I'm sure they do their best to keep everything clean, but there's a lot of walkways and pathways in Washington, D.C. to keep clear, and they're all working really hard on the inauguration parade route. Coming down here today, some additional streets were closed. They're putting up the stands for seating for the inaugural parade and all kinds of other things. Daryl, you made it! Hey, Daryl! Happy Sunday! I know. We just missed you a few times. So this is the Jefferson Memorial right across the Tidal Basin. And in the distance here, you can, there's some construction going on over there. I think they may be replacing a bridge. I might be wrong. But some roads are closed around here, not just related to the inauguration, but also related to lots of construction. In the far, far distance over there, you can also see the top of the Air Force Memorial, but it's really hard. And then Arlington House at Arlington National Cemetery way over there. So we'll take a little walk and see what we can see. If there will be a day when I fall while streaming, it's going to be today. So I'm going to be super careful on this ice. Lots of birds around. Lots of loud birds around. So how's everyone doing today? How cold is it where you are? Or not, or warm where you are? Oh gosh, I'm walking like an old lady here. Whoa, there we go. That was one slide. This is a cherry tree. Everyone's heard of the famous cherry trees in Washington, D.C. Most of them are here around the Potomac River. And I saw the trailer for, I think it's the new Captain America film, and they're showing the characters walk through Washington, D.C. with these large, huge, looming cherry trees for effect. Cherry trees are small. This is a cherry tree. So, horticulturally inaccurate in that trailer, unless it's some other kind of tree they're trying to portray that looks like a cherry tree, but cherry trees aren't big. They're small, and they're beautiful when they're blooming. I've only been here one time for the infamous Cherry Tree Festival. I've never been so squished by people. So many people all around this tight little area here to see these cherry trees all around the Tidal Basin, which look fantastic and beautiful. I'm glad I can say I did it once. Might not be doing it again. Yeah, in good weather, when things aren't frozen, you get a little paddle boat and take a paddle boat out on the basin. Yeah, that's some chunky ice there. chunky ice there. All right, how far can I walk before you see the frame of the picture just flying because I've fallen? All right, I'm going to get off this pathway and go to the street because I'd rather walk on snow than walk on ice. $23 where Tomby is, $25 where Ben is. Daryl, 38 clear. Oh, and a nice bright moon. That's always fun. Yeah, it's not easy to sleep. For me, I'm photosensitive. I can't sleep when there's any light. And the combination of the moon and the snow.
At the light, use the right lane to keep right onto Ohio Drive Southwest.
Whoopsie. I don't know what caused my GPS to start talking to me. But as she said, we're on Ohio Drive, Main Avenue, 15th Street. That's kind of the area where we are. All right, now more ice, so I'm gonna move over to the snow. Walk in the snow instead of the ice. I'm glad I have witnesses, because when I do fall, it may be spectacular. And you can all at least tell the story. Oh, it looks like they've cleaned up the signs. So all throughout Washington, D.C., especially around the National Mall, all these helpful signs will help you get where you need to be. So we are... we're here-ish. No. Let's see. I'm twisted around now. Let's see. Okay, we parked here, and we're right here. And we'll go over this bridge if we can to try to get over to the memorial. Now, the Jefferson Memorial, like the Lincoln Memorial, has lots of steps. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see how safe it is. We're gonna get as close as we can, as safely as we can. You know, woman dies falling off steps at Jefferson Memorial is not a headline I want to be associated with, for sure. I was hoping to see some crazy ducks. Sometimes you see the ducks trying to land in the basin, and they hit the ice, and then they go flying. That would make a great video. Or they go kind of skidding across the ice. No birds this morning. No, I'm not going to try that, Ben. That's not happening. And Reagan National Airport is just south of the Jefferson Memorial, right on the Potomac River. So we're going to see planes taking off. They're taking off in this direction. Usually they land in this direction. But today they're taking off this way. Okay, I can get over this ice. Okay. Yep. Very helpful signs. So this area, this is 15th Street. And I should have done this earlier. So behind us is the Washington Monument. Everything in Washington is walkable. This is the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, where paper money is made. There are two main bureaus, if you will. One here in Washington, D.C., and one in Texas, where our paper money is made. Our coins are made at mints, the United States mints, that are located in Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and West Point, New York. But the headquarters of the United States Mint is here in Washington, D.C., where they do all the administrative stuff. They don't make coins here in Washington. Bills are printed, coins are minted. And the people who work at each agency are very particular about that. All right, this looks okay. This sidewalk looks better. I know, mince, yum. Trying to decide if I'm going to go from here up to Georgetown for breakfast. There's my favorite little restaurant for breakfast is an Austrian restaurant called Leopold's. And if you're going to go for pastries, the Austrians know what they're doing. There's a little shot through the trees. Try to work my way around here. The sun is going to help get rid of this ice for sure. Yesterday was good too. It was really sunny, so there was a lot of melting and drying pretty quickly. And you can see we are entering West Potomac Park, which kind of surrounds the Tidal Basin. A lot of traffic out today. A lot going on, and a lot of detours around Washington, D.C. today because of both regular construction seems to be pretty accelerated around here, and also the preparations for the inaugural parade, which is quite a spectacle. I won't be here for the parade. I will be out of town, unfortunately. You know me, I like history. I'd rather be participating in those kinds of things, but unfortunately, have to be out of town. All right, this sidewalk is getting a little bit better. If I can get off of this ice safely without a fall. Good morning. Yeah, the public bikes here are green. Let's see, in London, there are a couple different kinds, right? There's the Boris bikes and there's the Santander. I don't know if those are the same ones. I don't know. I think I see red ones and blue ones in London. All right, now I'm down in the bike and the jogger lane. So if I get hit, now it's going to be a bike, not a car. It's clear though. There's no ice. Chocolate and peppermint. Oh, now we're talking about chocolate and peppermint. That sounds good. All right, you're hearing me crunch here. So those buildings over there are, let me see if I get that correct, Roslyn, Virginia. That's the little city of Roslyn, Virginia over there. And then south of that is Pentagon City and Crystal City, Virginia. Good morning. Seems to be a place to dump the bikes here. Yeah, people don't put them back in the designated racks. Bikes, scooters, they just tend to be all over the place. Oh my gosh, here's one of my favorite signs. Here is one of my favorite trail signs ever because it just makes me laugh hilariously. So I mentioned that cherry trees are small and they do have low-hanging branches. Now let me make sure I don't fall. And I don't know, one day I was just hiking around here and I saw this sign, low-hanging branch overhead, and this guy just getting bonked on the head. That's a good sign. That's a funny sign. I like that sign. All right, now This path has not been cleared, but it's more snow than ice. So I'm thinking it's okay. So we're gonna try this way, because I think we'll get a really good view of the memorial from this angle. And a little more sun wouldn't hurt. This area right here, it has flooded too. I've been here when it's flooded, because you can see we're pretty close to the level of the tidal basin here. Okay, definitely ice directly under this thin sheet of snow. So I'm gonna be super careful. Don't want to break a wrist. If I can make it over there and back today, it will be quite an accomplishment. It's super cold, but it is such a nice day. There's no wind. It's sunny, it's beautiful. I had to get out while the sun's out. Sometimes, you know, January and February are great. If you get a clear day, I think the sun, the angle of the sun is beautiful for videos and pictures, you know, or it could be totally miserable. You never know what you're going to get. Okay, now we've reached a barrier. And I'm not entirely sure. I think we can walk under there. And that's probably the low-hanging branch that the sign was made for, because this is certainly a tipping tree here. Oh, we can make it around here. This is fine. This is all snow here. I'll try to walk slower. Several people have told me to walk slower on other streams. So I'm sorry. My natural gait is pretty fast. And there's the Washington Monument. I don't know if you can catch it, but if you're here in person, there's a distinct change in the color of the stone about 1/3 of the way up the monument. And that's because the construction on the monument stopped before the Civil War, not because of the Civil War, but the money for the monument ran out and the construction had stopped. And then when it resumed again after the Civil War, the stone came from a different quarry. And so while at the time it looked the same, over time it's aged differently. And that's okay. It definitely adds to the character of the memorial. Personally, I would not recommend, if you have just a few days in Washington, D.C., don't go up to the top. It's a long wait, and yeah, you get a view, but I don't think it's worth going to the top. There are other ways you can get that view. And the buildings in Washington, D.C. are not very tall anyway. So the skyline is not, it's not as, I don't want to say not as impressive. It's just a low skyline because There's a height restriction on buildings in Washington, D.C. Thankfully, there's a height restriction. And that way you get better vistas and views around the city. Now, I'm going to take this path to avoid some steps. I might need spikes. I know. I think I'll be okay. What I don't want to happen is go all the way around and get trapped somewhere, you know, because climbing up is easier than walking down. And climbing up a slippery surface is not as dangerous as trying to walk down a slippery surface. Okay, we've done that. Success. Now, lots of ice here, but that's okay. And as long as the ice is crunching, I don't know, I always feel like that's safer. Doing a little ASMR ice crunching here. All right. Okay. That's a good shot. It is built on a swamp. Yep. This city was swampland. Washington, D.C. formally founded in 1790 as kind of a diamond shape, 2/3 of which was ceded from the state of Maryland and 1/3 from Virginia. Over across the water there, part of Arlington County. But a few years after that, Arlington County said, nah, we're good. We want to stay part of Virginia. And so Washington, D.C. today is comprised of just all the land that was ceded from Maryland. Built on a swamp, streets were patterned after the plan of Pierre L'Enfant, engineered by Benjamin Banneker. And the idea was a grid pattern, which I appreciate. The streets going north-south are numerical. So 1st Street, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And the streets going east-west are, for the most part, are letters of the alphabet. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, blah, blah, blah. There is no J Street. There's a whole story about that. And then there's wheel and spoke. There's traffic circles that connect the important parts of the city. All right, I'm climbing up these stairs now. This is the Jefferson Memorial, and I'm not gonna fall down these stairs. Oh, and it's cleared over there. Okay, we have a very clear path ahead of us. So let's head for that clear path. And I am not gonna stream my walk back, because if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen during my walk back. And then my next live stream will be from Georgetown Memorial Hospital, which is a fine hospital, by the way. All right, marble steps, plenty of salt. I think we'll be good. See, the going up is not the problem. I'm worried about coming down. Oh my, okay. You know what? You only live once. If I need to, I'll do like a little kid and come down the stairs seated. And hello, Joe. Joe, I don't think your question is really helpful. Okay, I've made it. I have made it. And yes, like other memorials, this is a place of quiet reflection. And so I will be quiet. Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. And among his many, many achievements, he was also an architect. And one of the architectural styles that he espoused in the United States was the use of domes. And so it is altogether fitting and proper that his memorial be capped with a dome. So let's take a look. Some of his important writings. As one of the obvious founding fathers of our nation, he did so much to construct our system of government of the people, by the people, for the people. And penned our Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia. And this is part of it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Good morning, Abe. We're at the Jefferson Memorial. There's a lot of quotes around here. I'm trying to get to the beginning. I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal, hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Okay, I like that one. Sorry for spinning around so quickly. Let's get a look from each side of this memorial. Next Ranger-led talk starts at 9:30. I sing the praises of our National Park Service all the time. The most valuable of all of the assets of the National Park Service are the park rangers. They are the custodians of our history. They tell the stories. Okay, so this is looking south toward the highway that connects Washington with Virginia. And over this side, so this is a view west of here. See if I can step down without falling. So straight ahead, if you look in the distance, you see kind of you see a structure with like 3 beams heading toward the sky, really far in the distance, but straight ahead in the center of this picture. That's the United States Air Force Memorial. And the effect it's giving is the missing man formation when the Air Force, whether it's the Navy's Blue Angels or the Air Force Thunderbirds, when they're doing that maneuver, the missing man maneuver, that's what it looks like. They fly straight up and then they branch apart. And then construction going on here. And then the city of Roslyn, Virginia. And just the tippy top of the Lincoln Memorial that you can see over there on the right. Just to the west of this area is the is Arlington National Cemetery, just across the Potomac. This is the Potomac River. This is the Tidal Basin. It's obviously a basin on the river. It's where the cherry trees are. Can't go that way. It's where the cherry trees are, the famous Washington, D.C. cherry trees. And that's a really good view of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. All right, let's go out here for one last view, and then I am going to end the stream, because if I fall, I want to fall off camera instead of on camera. And you'll know how well I did, depending on where my next live stream is from. Hopefully not a hospital. It's not that bad. I'm being dramatic. Washington Monument. Beautiful tidal basin. From the top of the Jefferson Memorial. Now, what I could do, what smart people might do, would be to walk down through the snow instead of on the steps here. I mean, they have salted it incredibly well. It's just that it is marble. And, yeah, I'm going to take my time. Yeah, Tomby, watch, oh, here we go. Look, through the trees, if you can see, again, straight ahead, directly in the center of this shot is the White House. Look at that, look at the parting through the trees. And there's the White House. So that's a pretty good shot. Tommy, yes, hot chocolate for sure. Maybe tea, maybe some tea. The great thing about Washington, D.C., it's not hilly. And that's why there's bikes everywhere. It's easy to bike. It's great for walking. So when you come here, you'll be able to walk to so many different places. There's 2 or 3 main areas that I suggest people, kind of start and end at. The National Mall is the great big green space, which is between the United States Capitol. It runs from the United States Capitol, which you can't see. It would be that way, all the way to the Lincoln Memorial, which you can just kind of see over there. And everything around that is history. All the government, the big old government department buildings are around there, but also the Smithsonian museums, which are all free to the public. And so take advantage of that. And then also the White House, Supreme Court, Library of Congress, Bureau of Engraving and Printing. All of those buildings are all within easy walking distance of the same area. And then the other area that I frequent is around Massachusetts Avenue, where all the mansions and many of which became embassies, but all the fancy buildings are up there around Massachusetts Avenue. And then you get all the cool cafes around DuPont Circle. You can take Massachusetts Avenue and then kind of converge with Rock Creek Park for some really great hiking and walking. From here, Pennsylvania Avenue, which is the official street that the White House is on, if you go west on Pennsylvania Avenue, you end up in Georgetown. Great restaurants, shopping, all kinds of fun stuff there. So, yeah, you'll have to do a couple of live streams. I will provide you with lots of suggested walks And then I forgot to mention, I mean, walking is great. It's what I do. But if you can't or prefer not to or want to see more, our metro system, our public transportation system here is really great. It's not like New York or Chicago. I think especially for people outside of the U.S., you may see the idea of a United States subway system and think it's a little sketchy. Washington's metro is not. It's cleaner and safer than many. I'm not going to say it couldn't improve, but it's on par with London's underground in terms of kind of the ease of use and the safety and the cleanliness. So definitely do that. Okay, I made it. I shouldn't say anything, jinx myself. All right, I made it down. I'm gonna turn around, watch the sun, and take another look at the memorial from here. Definitely the best view of many memorials is from a distance. You know, they are designed, big grand memorials are better viewed from a distance. And yeah, here we're getting a great view of the Washington Memorial and then the White House straight ahead through the trees. I am disappointed I'm not seeing the crazy ducks skidding around on the ice. That's always kind of fun. Oh, look, and we've got melting going on. So the sun is doing its job. Very nice. Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you have just a wonderful Sunday. Wherever you are, get out there and explore. London Underground is sketch. I'm sure Washington will be fine. It's all relative. You know, if you compare like London to New York, I'd take London any day. For sure. Thanks, everyone, for joining this stream. I think I'm going to get some really good photos today. Have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.